Hello, and welcome back to Little John headquarters, where I am live, not live, whatever we are, but I am in my living room joined by absolutely no one but myself to talk absolute nonsense. Anyway, I thought we'd talk about the main issue of today, which was the Chelsea Liverpool game being abandoned after about 5.5, 6 minutes of play. The Barclays FA have, or the Super League, have come out saying that the game was left to the referee to decide if it was playable. So it seems like it was the ref's fault, man. Nah, I'm only kidding. I think obviously the referees probably thought, we're here, they've done the warm-ups, let's crack on and play the game, but obviously it wasn't safe. I think you heard Matt Beard was frustrated because they'd said that they might postpone the game till later in the afternoon, but then they didn't and they just cracked on with it. So it's understandable that he is obviously annoyed at that. I'm sure Emma Hayes too was thinking, let's try and get the game played. Everyone wants a game to be played. Nobody wants it to be cancelled, especially at such short notice before the game. But we heard Emma Hayes say after the game that we now need to do more teams in the WSL. We need undersoil heating. Is it a simple one? I don't know, because what happens is that then the clubs that have to do it, probably. I'm sure some of the men's team are going, well, that costs too much money, but is there a simple way around it? Is there a simple solution? Do you use the stadiums? Can we schedule games to be at stadiums and work around the men's fixtures? That would be great. I know we're seeing more and more games being played at the men's stadium, so if that's a way around it, that would be great. It might not always be as straightforward as that. Does it cost money for some teams to then get stewards, close roads? Is it costing more money? But I think in the long run, I'm sure where the women's game, the way it's going, it's only going one direction and it's flying forward. It's growing at a rapid pace, so I think the money will be there. We will generate a lot more money from the women's game. I don't think it's ever going to be as ridiculous as the men's game and the money that's involved there, but I don't think we want that. But I think we will start generating more money in revenue. So is that something we're going to need to look at? And then there's also the other argument of teams obviously training during the week there. I'm sure a lot of their sessions were disrupted because of the weather. I know ourselves at Villa, we had to train about 3 or 4 sessions on AstroTurf, which is not ideal. I know some people go, well, it's better than nothing. Yes, it is better than nothing, but that comes at a cost too. It's a totally different surface. If you're playing full-time football, you don't want to be training on the Astro. It's just a different game, and obviously you're more at risk to be injured. It's a hard surface. There's no give. It's not great for the joints, and especially people that have joint issues and stuff like that. I'm sure a few of the girls were sort of struggling with their backs after it. I don't have great Achilles, but touch wood, they've survived this week. I know a couple of other girls haven't been great. So there's a lot of things to, it's a tough one. I think it's very easy to say, well, just use the guys. And I know ourselves, we would like to, but then you've got to work around their schedules. But I know the Premier League guys teams, a lot of the teams, I don't know the actual stats and specifics, but I know a lot of them will have, their training pitches all have undersoil heating, but how many pitches have it? I don't know if it's one. Is it 3 pitches? I'm not sure. But is there a way that we could train? Hopefully so. But then you've got the argument of, well, what about the guys, academy teams and stuff? Do they not get to train then? Or how does it work? Who gets priority? But we are now, like Emma has said, like, it's a WSL. It's like one of the biggest leagues in the UK, yeah, and arguably in the world. So more has to be done. I think we've probably got the Lionesses to blame because they won the Euros here in England, and it's just honestly, like, the game has just boomed since that. The publicity, the percentage in ticket sales for games, the interests, sponsorship deals, it's all like flying. So the game's only going one way and it's going at a rapid pace, so we're going to need to have to support the game but the way it needs supporting, and help the females that are playing like progress and be able to perform at their best abilities and do their jobs. So it's one of those wins, but you know, nothing straightforward, is it? But I'm sure it will all be sorted in due course. It really will. Anyway, what games went ahead? So obviously yesterday's game, the Villa game away to Man City went ahead. It was a draw, one each. I think we had a shaky first start to the game. I think City will be frustrated that they didn't capitalise on punishes, but sometimes you've got to ride your luck, and we did, and we stuck together, and we managed to get through that sort of shaky spell. And then obviously we conceded. It was a nice goal from City's point of view. We'll be disappointed. But then we go and respond right away, which was fantastic. Delighted for Kirsty Hansen because she's a grafter. She's honestly, she works so hard, and she's starting to reap the rewards. She's just a nice girl, very humble, very down to earth. And yeah, I'm happy that she gets to go. I think after the goal she was laughing because she was like, "Oh my god, I've absolutely slid." But anyway, it's went in, so that's all that counts. Goals went in, it's over the line, happy days. And then she hits the post with a great effort. She was really unlucky there. It's a shame it didn't go in. I think one each is probably, I think if you look at the whole duration of the game, it's probably a fair result. And we're delighted that, it's a point on the board. Got 3 off them earlier on in the season. That's 4 points we took off City. That's never been done before in Aston Villa's history. I know we've only been in the WSL for a couple of seasons, but that's massive. It's a massive thing to do. Not many teams do that, so obviously absolutely delighted. The new girls have settled in well, which is it's great to see. They're looking very comfortable, so that's really nice. I've been really impressed with Lucy Staniforth. She's a player that you know of and you hear of, and she's got like a great delivery, a great technique. But I think once you see her at training and just how she sort of goes about her business, she's a grafter, gets stuck in, and then she's got a great sort of eye technique, great way to pass. I like that. So fair play. But yeah, that's all. What other games were on was Everton played West Ham, beat them 3-0. They had 2 early goals, and I think that's maybe knocked the stuffing out of West Ham. I didn't see the game, but a convincing win. Looks like it from what I've read up on it. West Ham won't be too buzzing with that, but that takes Everton are now sitting on 5th, and we're below them, and West Ham are just below us. I think there's a couple of points all in it, but yeah, we're pleased with that. What else? Man United played Reading. Reading will be disappointed. I've seen their keeper Burns saves a penalty, a Zelen penalty, and they're probably thinking they've done enough to get a point out of the game, and it's a shame because I've seen the results the last few weeks, and it's like they're getting closer. They're so near, but then they just keep falling like the last hurdle. Rachel Williams goes and scores in the 87th minute to get 3 points for United, which is great for them. It really keeps them right in the running still. So I'd said earlier that I thought that Chelsea will win the league, and then it would be City and Arsenal. But I don't know if I was just saying that to annoy Katie and Arsenal people. But I mean, I still think City will get more points on the board. But United are doing well. They're playing nice football, and it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens in this league and what the rest of the season has in store. Anyway, that's it for me. What's next for Villa? Villa, we've got Arsenal actually in the Conti Cup on Thursday night, but it's Thursday night. Bournemouth doesn't have undersoil heating, as far as I'm aware, unless they've got it. And I'm talking nonsense, but I don't think they do. And yeah, I don't know what the temperatures are going to be, but it's been pretty cold. So if it continues, I do not think the game will be on. But fingers crossed the weather sort of changes and the temperatures rise and the game goes ahead. But anyway, that's all. Thanks for joining me. Over and out. God bless.